Coming up, we meet Huang Dingxuan and find out how his life was turned around after meeting some helpful Tzu Chi volunteers. And Tzu Chi College of Technology undergoes a name change and becomes a University of Science and Technology. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Mary Lee. Thank you for joining us. We begin today's program in South Africa. Indaka Ekhuvukeni is a township situated 50 kilometers from Ladysmith. Not only is the area characterized by poverty and illness, violence is also a widespread problem. First setting foot in this community last year, Tzu Chi volunteers recently returned, bringing relief items and rice for 300 poor families.
Hi. Hello.
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 Tzu Chi volunteers have arrived in Indaka Ekhuvukeni, a township situated 50 kilometers outside of Ladysmith. Their first stop is a community daycare center that looks after several children with cerebral palsy. Indaka Ekhuvukeni is set against a backdrop of poverty, illness, and widespread violence. Tzu Chi volunteers first set foot here in 2014, bringing with them a ray of hope for the residents. 30 families on the verge of starvation breathed a sigh of relief at the sight of Tzu Chi volunteers. Although many residents received rice and blankets, they were also surprised to receive help from a group of foreigners.
We're very thankful to Tzu Chi for organizing this distribution. It's the first time people are willing to do something for us.
They appreciate a lot. Everybody is now talking about Amitofo. There's Amitofo all over in our place now. We don't know whether we are in Taiwan or in South Africa.
Tzu Chi's presence is like a ray of sunshine, lifting residents out of despair and transforming their helplessness into hope and optimism. Switching our focus to Taiwan, a failed business and marriage can be terrifying to any middle-aged man, and is exactly what happened to Huang Dingxuan of Yuanling, Zhanghua. Thankfully, he ran into some Tzu Chi volunteers more than a year ago who helped him rediscover a hidden talent that might help him change his life around. Here is his story. An egret spreading its wings, a peacock fanning his tail, or the mythical Chinese dragon soaring in the sky, all these ultra-realistic sculptures are made of recycled poker cards by Huang Dingxuan.
They are not easy to make at all, as my fingers are thick, yet each component is so small and delicate. Putting them together is like knitting. You have to piece everything together one stitch at a time. Like this tooth, after I make it, I then paint it and glue it on, but it can fall off easily.
Huang never liked studying as a kid, but was passionate about art instead. He taught himself to create amazing sculptures with cards. When he was young, Huang started his own business. But after his business failed a couple of decades later, his marriage also failed subsequently. Since then, life has been difficult for him, and Huang especially regrets his divorce.
I didn't treat her right. Her health is not that good because of me. She bore me 4 children, but after my business failed, I neglected her even more.
About a year ago, Tzu Chi and Huang's paths crossed. Since then, volunteers have been at his side.
I'm a different man today, mostly because of the strength I gained from Tzu Chi. I work hard now, taking on whatever job that is available. I know as long as I try, I will survive.
Working as a security guard means working different shifts. People said he wouldn't last long, but he did it for a long time. He still had to face reality. Recently, Huang has reconnected with his ex-wife while continuing to devote his spare time to his passion. Tzu Chi volunteers firmly believe that his unique talent will eventually help him re-establish himself and his life.
2 years ago, Yang Xiaodong from Xiamen, China, was unable to stand up straight due to suffering from ankylosing spondylitis. However, after getting help from the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital, Yang was able to begin a new life with a straightened spine. Later, we follow up with Xiaodong now that he's been back at home for a while and see how he is doing. But first, we follow up with a medical case at the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital from earlier in August. Zheng Dagang, who suffered from myoclonus dystonia, is currently undergoing rehabilitation sessions following deep brain stimulation surgery 2 weeks ago. Here at the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital, Zheng Dagang from Fujian is doing rehab exercises following his deep brain stimulation surgery 2 weeks ago.
很好，很好，很好，就是这样，就是这样，就是这样，停久一点哦。那我们算3秒钟，好不好？在做任何动作之前
Before we do any movements, we must gain control of our body. So today our goal is for him to push his body forward and hold that pose.
For nearly 20 years, Zheng has suffered from myoclonus dystonia, a condition in which his body spasms uncontrollably. After surgery, Zheng is still under the careful supervision of the doctors.
那今天的活动已经是在
Today's activity is more advanced for him as we are asking him to refine his movements to complete the exercise.
Witnessing the medical care Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital provides for its patients, Dr. Gan Zongren, who is accompanying Zheng on this medical journey, is impressed.
整个医疗团队
The entire medical team is very detailed in the way they take care of their patients. They have thought of everything.
This type of cross-border medical care goes to show that compassion in medicine is a much-needed factor. Every Wednesday, Xiaodong and his mother visit the recycling station to volunteer. The surgery has not only helped Xiaodong's physical appearance, but also his mindset.
Xiaodong has changed a lot. In the past, I always did everything for him. Once when the fan stopped in the middle of the night, he got up to turn it back on because he thought we were going to be hot. I was very moved. He did that.
When Tzu Chi volunteers hold a free clinic for the recycling volunteers, they also reserve a spot for Xiaodong and his mother.
小东, your wisdom teeth, you need to remove them.
From medical care to looking after their spiritual needs, Tzu Chi remains steadily by Xiaodong and his mother's side in the days ahead. Next, we bring you the story of Liu Yifang, who was stricken with cerebral palsy when young and graduated from a Taiwan university and met her future husband-to-be, who is from England. The unique couple living in Taichung's Shigang shows the world that love truly knows no boundaries, and with love, anything is possible.
Stricken with cerebral palsy when young, although talking is difficult for Liu Yifang, her mind remains razor sharp.
I feel that I'm normal, so I'm not afraid of hardship.
Yifang graduated from Taiwan's top university and met her future husband-to-be, an engineer from England, online. Peter says it was Yifang's extreme resolve and fiery independence that first attracted him.
Okay, Yvonne is very, very intelligent. She's more intelligent than me and sometimes can think far quicker than me and makes decisions on her own back.
Peter and Yifang got married in Malta, where they lived 2 years before moving back to Taiwan. Once there, 60-year-old Peter began to study bread baking. And in 3 years, the couple had managed to set up their own bakery. Word soon spread of the couple and their love-filled breads.
It's very impressive. They are really located in an out-the-way place. We had to use Google Map to find them.
Yifang's father had doubts regarding his son-in-law, who was only 5 years younger than him. But what he has seen over the past 3 years has convinced him of Peter's sincerity. I think that we are all together thanks to past affinities.
Know that Yvonne needs me. So regardless of any difficulties or upsets that we do have, it's just pushed on, get on with things.
Now Yifang and Peter's love is being transformed into a successful bakery, and with love as great as theirs, other successes surely lie on the horizon.
When 7-year-old Xiaoxun was born, oxygen was cut off to his brain, which affected his development. Doctors later diagnosed him to be suffering from mild cerebral palsy. Even after years of rehabilitation and the aid of iron shoes, Xiaoxun still mostly uses his arms to help his mobility. However, he does not let fate get him down. Instead, he continues to learn alongside his younger brother, Han Han. Han Han is basically Xiaoxun's right-hand man, always looking out for his older brother and assisting him. Recently, the pair joined a summer camp. Let's see how much fun they had. Here in Tainan, brothers Xiaoxun and Han Han are having a great time participating in a local summer camp. However, leaving the house isn't easy as 7-year-old Xiaoxun suffers movement disorders. Xiaoxun suffers cerebral palsy due to complications during his birth. Knowing that his big brother needs a helping hand at times, 5-year-old Han Han is always ready to assist.
My brother wears diapers, and I help to throw it away for him. He helps me very much. He helps to throw away my trash. When I've finished eating, he puts the dishes in the sink for me.
When we carry out group activities, Han Han does his best to help his brother.
The display of brotherly love and care by the pair for one another has really been an inspiration to the adults around them. We begin the next part of our program with some exciting news for Tzu Chi's education mission. On August 1st, the Tzu Chi College of Technology was officially upgraded to Tzu Chi University of Science and Technology, making it the first University of Science and Technology on Taiwan's East Coast. Here's more.
In 1989, seeing the lack of nurses on the East Coast, Master Zheng Yan established the Tzu Chi College of Nursing, with a dual emphasis on professional and humanitarian training. In 1999, the college was renamed Tzu Chi College of Technology.
The emphasis is the training of medical personnel, and our biggest department is nursing. In fact, nurses make up about 2/3 of the student body. Now they number about 2,000.
Passing numerous government assessments with flying colors, the college became the only school on the East Coast to qualify for government teaching excellence grants. Finally, on August 1st, after a meeting of the board, the school was renamed Tzu Chi University of Science and Technology.
Without the help of our teachers and administrators in working towards this goal, I think it would be really hard to be where we are today. The research coming out of this school, as well as awards won by the school, are all the result of our hardworking students and teachers.
The university has always encouraged its students to combine their studies with fieldwork, whether that be working towards a professional license or undertaking internationally recognized research. This dual focus means students graduate with important interdisciplinary skills and knowledge.
This last few years, we have been reaching out beyond Hualien and even beyond Taiwan. Although our school is located in a remote area, our students have opportunities to see the world and expand their horizons.
With a technical university now available to students on the East Coast, students interested in this field no longer have to travel far from home to receive a world-class education in science and technology.
In China, Tzu Chi volunteers continue to be there to support the victims of the Tianjin chemical explosion that happened on August 12th. Recently, volunteers visited the rescue station to hand out more consolation cash to those in need. Volunteers also came bearing gifts for a Taiwanese businessman who reopened his bakery in the aftermath of the tragedy. Here in Tianjin, upon hearing that Taiwanese businessman Li Mingfei is reopening his bakery after the blast on August 12th, Tzu Chi volunteers brought some gifts as part of their well wishes.
This charm is for peace and good fortune.
Mr. Li's wife was injured during the blast, and the volunteers had visited the family at the hospital. Now they've returned once more to hand out consolation cash to the Li family to help them with their finances.
Use this consolation cash to purchase needed items and to pay off some bills.
Continuing to help the victims of the Tianjin blast, Tzu Chi volunteers visit the rescue station and gave consolation cash to those in need, like Mr. Xu, who is heading home after losing his job as a cleaner here in Tianjin.
We wish you well on your way home. Enclosed is a letter from Master Zeng Yan.
Another recipient, Mr. Liu, a truck driver by trade, moved the volunteers with his response.
I don't need this money. Please give it to the victims of the explosion. I'm still quite able-bodied.
But actually, due to the blast, Mr. Liu is penniless and has nowhere to live.
We really understand where you're coming from, but please accept this money and let's vow to help more people once you have fully recovered from your injuries.
Blast victims selflessly sharing their love despite their own suffering prove that all is not lost in this world.
To encourage people to observe the 7th lunar month in the correct manner, Tzu Chi volunteers have been holding blessing ceremonies or gatherings in various communities in the Greater Taipei area, while some attendees listen to the inspiring life story of a Tzu Chi volunteer at a blessing ceremony in New Taipei City. Other participants learn about the true meaning of a lunar July at a tea gathering in Taipei City.
To mark the auspiciousness of Lunar July, Tzu Chi volunteers in DaAi district held an afternoon tea gathering. Among the 250 participants, 84-year-old Mrs. Wang, who lost a daughter, came with her youngest daughter.
My mother has been unable to cope with the loss. Since I work in Taichung and cannot always be by her side, Tzu Chi volunteers have been visiting her.
With a Hu performance, the blessing ceremony in Sanchong's Futian Borough looks like a music concert. Guest speaker Cai Peishan tells the audience that since her parents are divorced, she had to start working at a young age. But after becoming a Tzu Chi volunteer, she considers herself fortunate.
Now I feel that I have a good life. Why? I have an amazing home. It's amazingly tiny but can still shelter me from wind and rain.
Cai's life story touched the Vietnamese bride, Yen Tinh Truong, who began working at age 20. She also supports Tzu Chi's idea of not burning joss paper.
I told my husband we need to protect the environment. We should put our money to good use.
At Tzu Chi Wan-An Liaison Office, many residents came to join the blessing ceremony after work. As the attendees replace incense burning with sincere prayers, they've also learned to live every day with hearts filled with mindfulness and piety.
24-year-old cellist Shi-An Shapeyate, who was once the principal cellist of Taipei Philharmonic Youth Orchestra, got into a car accident last October and fell into a coma. After going through ortho and neurosurgeries in addition to rehabilitation, Shi-An has since recovered well. On August 26th, he performed for the medical staff and patients at the Cathay General Hospital to express his deepest gratitude.
At a solo recital in 2012, cellist Shi-An Shapeyate showed off his musical talents. However, last October, he had a car accident and fell into a coma, which almost ended his music career.
After I woke up, I had no idea what had happened. My mom told me that I was in a car accident. The cast was from here to the base of my finger. I could still move my fingers, so I knew I could still play cello.
In this picture, Shi-An was lying in the ICU after brain surgery. After he came to, he underwent strenuous physical rehabilitation. Performing once again, but now at the lobby of Cathay General Hospital instead, Shi-An and his family want to thank the medical staff for saving his life.
When I was told he had comminuted fracture, we were all heartbroken. I just went limp. His recovery today is really a miracle.
From the X-ray, one can see that the bones in Shi'an's left hand were broken into at least 5 pieces. Without proper treatment, his hand would have become deformed.
He had comminuted fracture and we had to piece the broken bones back together, as if working on a puzzle. We had to choose smaller screws to keep the bones in place.
Narrowly escaping death, Shi'an not only has a deeper appreciation of music now, he has also learned to live every day with gratitude and joy.
For 15 years, the Light on Innovation Award has been giving youngsters in the Chinese community a chance to showcase their inventions. This year, a technical breakthrough category has been added on top of the original new invention category. 1,678 teams from around the world have submitted their work, which focuses on improving the quality of life and our environment.
2、1，请贴上！好，现场的朋友，给我们一个最热情的掌声。
Thousands of applicants are competing for this year's Light on Innovation Award. This is a heavy metal detector which took 3 NTU graduate students 6 months to make. It uses plasma to produce a full spectrum analysis of a wet test strip. More than a dozen heavy metals can be detected through a special app designed for a smartphone.
Each heavy metal has a distinct color on the chart. We use the app on the smartphone to analyze the chart, so we know what kind of heavy metals are present. Food safety is a serious problem in Taiwan, so we want to tackle this problem. With regards to heavy metal detection, we want to make it so every member of public can perform the test on their own, without relying on a special laboratory and spending a fortune.
To help fight muscle atrophy for patients who are confined to their beds, and to save on the costs and the need for physical therapy, students from National University of Singapore have designed this training device.
We first consulted with physical therapists and asked them what kind of exercise can help benefit a bedridden patient.
We find that early treatment is way more beneficial, so we have designed a solution for bedridden patients so that they may work out while lying in bed.
Whether they win or lose, the event has demonstrated the care that these young people have for the world and the people around them, giving us hope to a better future. At the end of the program, we joined teachers from the affiliated high school division of Tzu Chi University on a 3-day humanitarian camp in Hualien, Taiwan, where the teachers exchanged ideas and learned from one another on the best way to nurture their students during their path of learning. We will leave you with these images at the end of the program. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.